It's my pleasure now to introduce today's speaker. Today, most of the world know Diane Leopold as the Executive Vice President of Dominion Energy and CEO of their gas infrastructure group. This is, of course, headquartered here in Richmond, Virginia. Diane's business unit is responsible for 2.3 million natural gas customer accounts across 5 states. This also includes 15,000 miles of natural gas transmission, storage, and gathering pipeline, more than 50,000 of gas distribution pipeline, and well over 1 million retail and related services customer accounts in 13 states. Before becoming CEO, Diane held a variety of positions, including Senior Vice President of Business Development and Generation Construction at Dominion, Senior Vice President of Dominion Transmission, and President of Dominion Energy. Diane stands out not only for her achievements in business, but for her sense of adventure beyond the boardroom. When she gets away from work, Diane's strong preference is to be off the grid and away from cellular service. So she likes to vacation, hike, bike, sea kayak, swim, and raft in some interesting places. We were just chatting that she decided to rappel down a waterfall in Costa Rica and just for fun decided to hike Kilimanjaro. So some little interesting things. Having the courage to do and try new things is a fundamental part of Diane's character. After graduating from the University of Sussex in UK with a degree in engineering, and before she earned her master's in electrical engineering from George Washington University, she landed her first job at a power station in Maryland. Again, related to this interesting thing about doing different things, she was the first female engineer willing to climb a treacherous emissions stack every month to do an inspection. But the inspiring thing about Diane is that moving up is hardly her first concern. She also gives back. No matter how high she climbs, she's always helping to lift others. She currently serves as a member of the Board of Trustees of Virginia Union University, and we are so grateful to have her as president of the Board of Trustees of the Virginia Commonwealth University Foundation. She also chairs the board of directors of the Interstate Natural Gas Association of America, which is the North American Trade Association for Interstate Natural Gas Pipeline. And she is also a member of the board and executive committee of the American Gas Association. Lest we also not mention that she has an MBA from VCU, graduating from our, graduated from our executive MBA program in 1998. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the inspiring and adventurous Diane Leopold.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dean Khan, Dean Vijay Akumar, who I believe you all know as Dean Vijay, other honored guests, members of the faculty, parents, friends, and above all, graduates, I'm thrilled to be with you today. I was in VCU's second executive MBA graduating class. To give you an idea of when that was, I was literally 9 months pregnant at the end with my son, who just finished his freshman year in college. I know. Funny, graduation doesn't seem that long ago. I was sitting out there, proud and not so patiently thinking, how long is this going to take? Not long. I read my instructions and I followed directions well. But acceleration not being quite the same thing as illumination, I'm going to try hard to leave you with a few useful thoughts. First, to the graduating class. This is a good day. You got this done. Congratulations to you and to all, the all being those who love and support you, now sighing with relief. To the VCU School of Business, congratulations on getting this graduate ceremony out on its own. It well deserves the recognition, and it's a high honor to be your speaker on this inaugural occasion. I think it's fair to say that you've won the hearts and minds of the Richmond business community, but it's more than that. The reputation of the VCU School of Business has impressed people well beyond Virginia. That means that yours and my degree is gaining in value all the time, and I would simply say to the administration, keep up the good work, it's paying off for everyone. So, honored graduates, what's next? How should you use this degree to further your career in the logical next step along life's great linear path? For me, that straight line career path seemed so compelling. That straight line, preferably pointing upward, was the ideal many of us focused on. But life is not linear. It's wonderfully nonlinear and unpredictable. My advice, accept it, grab onto it, shape it. The journey will be fun. About 15 years ago, Lou Gerstner surprised many by leaving as CEO of IBM, a pretty good job. He chose to define success in life not by title or position, but instead by what he wanted to achieve on a more personal level. His answer to success was choosing I remember the phrase he used, the episodic life. His CEO period was just a phase. And that doesn't mean you need to plan every phase well in advance, because as a practical matter, we only really understand the future when we get there. So we need to decide what's important to us and let this guide how we shape our life's episodes. There's a powerful line from Shakespeare's Macbeth: if you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me. Well, we all wish we knew the right answer. We all want some truth teller, to emerge from the fog of uncertainty and point us in the right direction. Look, I'm in the energy business. I once had a role forecasting the future of energy, supply, demand, prices, that sort of thing. At the time, I naively thought that we could use our deep knowledge of the industry and sophisticated modeling techniques to predict the future, to predict the unpredictable. But inevitably, there are externalities, as terrible as a war or as exciting as new technologies, that make our predictions wrong, sometimes really wrong. And I'm not saying we got everything wrong. We actually got plenty right. I'm just saying that we didn't get as much right as I initially thought. Shifting geopolitics, shifting markets and regulations, and shifting public sentiment were large factors. Couple these dynamics with new technologies that have improved access to untapped resources, reduced demand through more energy-efficient appliances, and driven a surge in renewables and electric vehicles beyond what many believe possible. Now try to model that accurately. So things happen, we're proven wrong, and it's okay. It's very okay. Success isn't about getting it all right. It's about taking life's lessons, successes and failures, and shaping your next episode. It's about dealing with uncertainty and creating a continuous connection into the far-flung future between education and employment. I mean education in the broadest sense imaginable. The more open you are to life's experiences, the more prepared you are to expand your horizons, the more enthusiastic you are to decide what is important to you and create new episodes, the better. Employers are not just looking for a state of preparation anymore, but also for a state of mind, a readiness to embrace new experiences, combined with a capacity for making sense of it all, adjusting and thinking anew. I'm reluctant to hold myself out as an example, but let me tell you about a few of my experiences. When I was 16, I left the suburbs of Philadelphia for England, and I did it on my own. It's a long story, but I became enamored with the idea of learning about the world and maybe finding somewhere I thought I could fit in. I guess I was ready for a new episode. In retrospect, it was probably a little bit drastic, but I don't regret a moment of my time there. I went at a time and to an area that had a pretty strong anti-American sentiment. But I wanted to learn more than just academics. I wanted to learn culture. Over time, I grew to understand their jokes and colloquialisms, and I grew to understand their perspectives. Importantly, I discovered we had much more in common than the perceived differences that separated us. It helped me have a broader view of the world and to be more balanced in approaching divisive issues. It also helped me learn how to discuss issues in a way that may encourage others to understand and respect different perspectives too. When I left England 6 years later with my engineering degree, ready for my next phase, I took a job as the first female power plant engineer in a company in rural Maryland. Yes, this Philly girl who was moving back from England to rural Maryland with a worldview and a British accent. Now that was a culture shock. Still, I was determined to make it work, even though I had less in common with my coworkers here than my associates in England. I didn't hunt, fish, or chew tobacco. I didn't even follow college football or play golf. But I love my work and they could tell, so there was common ground. And just as in England, I found we had more in common than not, I even grew to understand at least some of their jokes and colloquialisms. And I believe when I left, the majority of my coworkers respected my work and in some way thought I fit in just fine. Over my nearly 30 years in energy industry, I've been the sole woman in countless business negotiations, construction sites, and industry meetings. I've been told in the US and Argentina that I had no right to be in a power station. In Brazil, I was told to join the wives while the men conducted business. In Japan, even in the last few years, I was passed over during an important business card exchange by senior executives. Frustrating? Sure, but I never let it get to me. Okay, I muttered a few things to myself, but I knew that I was not helpless. I focused on the immediate task at hand while truly trying to understand and respect both cultural differences and business norms. I became confident that we would find we had more in common than not, and I became confident that despite setbacks or uncertainty, I had choices and control in shaping positive outcomes. But if I skipped those years in England, would I have been so confident? I don't think so. A wider range of experiences magnifies your perspective. What's doable, what's possible, expands. The ability to deal with uncertainty becomes a part of life that can sometimes make you smile even when there are setbacks. You just have to be open to life in all its variety and all its nonlinearity. The learning never stops. And the velocity of learning, how quickly you can convert questions and problems into solutions, increases every day. It's about being realistic about what a career demands, because now more than ever, a growing business requires growing minds. And the great thing is that you can have fun doing it. Are you walking into a host of challenges, many of which remain imperfectly understood? Yes. Does that mean you have to constantly reassess your assumptions? Absolutely, every day. But if you take what you've learned here and build upon it in creative ways with many and varied experiences, and hold firm to what's important to you, you will not only succeed, you will lead. So my parting words, enjoy the unexpected, live the episodic life, make a difference. Thank you so much for letting me join you today, and good luck.